Warning: the following program is a satirical look at Indigenous news, politics, and current events. Skoden is advised.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the Laughing Drum Television, so deeply and profoundly Indigenous. Yes, yes. That sound you hear, for those of you at home, is the Toronto Sketch Comedy Festival audience, and we are coming there live this week. It's an absolutely incredible opportunity. And so, normally on this show, for the dozens of you that watch this at home, this is where we would normally start talking about the news. But instead this week, we've decided to turn our talents towards solving some of the biggest, hardest questions facing Indigenous people today. And so that's what we're going to use this time for. And Alyssa Black Wolf Kickson, who is a regular contributor on the show, is going to come out here and let us know. Alyssa, welcome, everybody welcome Alyssa to the show. Thank you, Alyssa. Now, Alyssa, what eternal question will we attempt to answer this week?
Something really important, it's very pressing. Are Indian tacos Indigenous cuisine? Indian tacos, they are fry bread with taco fixins on it, like ground beef, tomato, lettuce, salsa, sour cream, and cheese. They're available at places all across Turtle Island, usually powwows or Indigenous gatherings. But are they Indigenous?
Red Power panel. Sorry?
I think they are now.
They are now?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, we didn't fry stuff. Okay.
My
Before.
people
Did we? Did we? Phelan?
I am here to tell you, this Indigenous taco, baby, it's Indigenous cuisine. Trust me.
Craig, you follow up that.
I don't have a vagina. But I do love an Indian taco. I think they, yeah, right? I think they are, it's right there in the name, for God's sake. It says an Indian taco. Yeah. I mean, we've sort of incorporated a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There was Indigenous people in Mexico, and we're up here making, you know, it's kind of all, come on.
According to the Oxford Dictionary, as soon as you colonize something, it becomes yours. So we have colonized the taco. Yes. Poutine might be considered Canadian. When I make you my moose poutine, you'll know who owns that too.
So this is like some kind of twisted reverse cultural appropriation.
Yeah. Taking it back. Okay.
So, but there are people, there's a lot of chefs these days, Indigenous chefs, that are sort of bringing back Indigenous foods who treat Indian tacos like poison. There's a lot of people that are saying that it's not Indigenous. Can you kind of see the point? Because like you said,
I mean, vehemently like against Indian tacos like that. Who are these chefs?
I don't know.
You hate Indian tacos? Why? Famously, you've said that they're not Indigenous.
But they're not, like, it's not five-star cuisine. Obviously, I'm not saying, like, serve that to me in your high-end restaurant. I don't want to pay $38 for an Indian taco.
Like, kind of
with the
with
shit
it.
going
It's
down
soggy
on your shirt.
Or whatever, yeah.
Although Powwow Cafe right here in Toronto, Canada, has amazing, knife and fork, amazing Indian tacos, but they're decadent. Yeah. It's fancy.
What is a decadent Indian taco?
It's just there's like duck bacon and all kinds of stuff on them. They're really good.
It's like unicorn pea.
Yeah.
Drizzled
over the top, man.
Yeah.
Drizzled ever so gently with unicorn pea. I want that. That is an Indian taco that I want.
It's fried in
Each one is blessed by an elder before it comes out. You know?
Tears of a small child. Yeah. It's quite something. It's really quite something. And yes, I think you can eat it with a fork and a knife. I eat a Snickers bar with a fork and a knife, so...
You're insane.
I think anything
fancy.
That's too fancy.
Fancy lady.
What am I going to say?
A knife and a fork.
Yeah, because when you have big full lips and you like to wear red lipstick, if you eat anything big, insert your dirty minds here, you get the lipstick on your chin and on your nose. And so
yeah, but if you're trying to eat an Indian taco with like a plastic fork and knife, that never works.
No, baby,
man.
I roll with.
Oh, you bring it in the. Oh, in the.
Pull it out.
I got my ice pick too. So anybody rolls up on us, baby, I got you.
All right.
So I think we are coming close to some kind of a decision here. But before we do, I want to ask you, now in the States, Indian tacos have become something of a... White people are starting to make them. Even though it's not necessarily a traditional Indigenous food, does it bug you when white people eat them?
Like, what is, come on. Like, yeah, stop taking our stuff.
It's a vegan.
They're like gluten-free and vegan.
Yeah.
And they probably call them Indian tacos.
Yeah. And you know it's that white boy with the dreads, right? Yeah. You know it's that white boy with the dreads, whose mother's a professor, but he plays like he's living low on the street. And he's making him some vegan Indian tacos, all with organic food, which we can't afford, of course.
Can I get the tempeh Indian tacos?
Exactly.
Come down
Like the soy. Yeah.
All right,
Did you
Red Power
track that
panel.
tempeh? No.
By show of hands, are they Indigenous cuisine then? Let's solve this once and for all.
Yeah, I'm into it.
And although you just applauded, audience, just by show of applause, are they Indigenous cuisine? Do you agree with the Red Power panel?
Yes. Put a flag in it. Call it ours.
History has been made here tonight, my friend. This is it. We've finally settled this once and for all.
Listen, get a treaty out, get the white people present to get their mark on it. Trust me, I know how this goes down.
On that incredible note, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we are going to solve another deep, deep Indigenous question. So don't go away.
Did you know we got the social medias?
Don't lie.
It's true. Like the Laughing Drum on Facebook and follow us on Twitter right now.
Yes. Welcome back to the Laughing Drum, my friends. Television so deeply and profoundly Indigenous. Our full-back Chief Joseph tattoo has a Sitting Bull tattoo. It's absolutely incredible. We are here at the Toronto Sketch Comedy Festival. Thank you all for having us here. And I am here with the Red Power panel, and we are, as I said before the break, going to solve some of the biggest questions that are facing Indigenous communities today. And we're going to welcome back Alyssa Blackwolf, kicks into the show. Alyssa, what is our next topic that we're going to solve on the show?
Hollywood. We're going to solve Hollywood. Should non-Indigenous actors ever portray Indigenous characters in movies or plays? The answer is always no, but what do you guys think?
Thank you for that. Again, stop taking our stuff, man. Like, they have so many opportunities. There's like, out of 10 opportunities, we get like maybe 0.5 of an opportunity. So let us do it, and we have a different... We just do it better. We can represent ourselves better, no? Like, because their representation of us is their idea of us. Yeah. And we are repping for reals.
Plus, I'm going to tell you, my sister here is TV serious because viewer at home, I know you don't know this, but like every time we take a little break, I'm like that auntie that comes to your house. My bra comes out up here, my Kleenex, my water, my everything. Before we go live again, sister gets all my shit off the table. So she is TV savvy. She should be starring in your show for sure. Never can they play us. Never should they play us. No. Never. Not only that,
they don't get it.
I refuse to be part of a production where that is happening. I've had
Really?
people come to me and they'll say, "Oh, we're going to get this white character to play us." Then I'm not the person for your project because I won't be part of it.
That's a very principled choice. Wow.
I can't remember the guy's name, and I get it. I'm a pale-skinned native guy, and so sometimes there's a part that comes across that says, you know, a mixed race. This one was mixed race. He's kind of Inuit and French Canadian, and like Dene or something, all amalgamated together. And I was like, oh, I could, and his name was Maktak, which was, you could tell it wasn't written by an Indigenous person. And so I auditioned for this part, and I was like, I finally one that I can go for, because a lot of times I'll get sent out for Native roles, and I go, and it's like, you know, they're like, you don't look like Adam Beach.
Shocker.
They don't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, right? And it's like, I try and tell them always that there's like a rainbow of brown out there, but they don't get it. But then, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to lose this to, like, you know, Brandon Oakes or, you know, or Lawrence Bain or somebody. And then the guy that they chose was, and I can't remember, his last name was like Vasilic, but he was the guy that replaced George Clooney on ER. He's Serbian.
Wow.
He's Serbian, and he was the one that got the part, and it's called Midnight Sun. If you ever see it anywhere, don't watch it.
No, we have, yeah, exactly, because we have, I believe that we have an essence that can't be replicated. That's all. We got an essence.
Goran Vasilic.
They cannot understand that there is a rainbow of brown. Go to the paint store and see how many ways you can say white. Ecru, eggshell. Please.
Mother of pearl.
Please, seriously.
I know. It's an ongoing thing for me. It's in theater. It's never a question. I play Indigenous characters all the time. But anytime it's film and television, they don't want to have to explain anything. They don't want to say, oh, why is that guy not as dark as those other guys? You know, because my mom's English.
I got myself some feathers and a little pink trolley horse, and I just wear that to my auditions so that I can. Because if people feel comfortable, they see a Native person on a horse. Not that in Canada any of us ever really did that, but boy, they feel comfortable seeing that on screen.
I always see like the producers like kind of like, what? Come in. And then I open my mouth and they're like, oh, yeah, she's different. And I'm like, Scoden, right? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, this is going to be a bit of a scandalous question then. Has there ever been a portrayal that you've seen of a non-Indigenous person, of an Indigenous person, that you've actually liked?
Well, I won't say liked, but it was the first time that I ever saw an Indigenous character, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Turns out he's Ukrainian. But Joe Two Rivers on the Forest Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was like a central character. He was an important character. He was a positive character. And I, as a young person, thought that he was. It turned out he wasn't. But
yeah.
So I didn't, it's not like it was amazing, but it was positive.
Yeah. I have a personal exception for this rule. And how many people have ever heard of Billy Jack? Oh. No? Okay, well, Billy Jack was a 1970s action hero. And his whole thing was he went around and he roundhouse kicked people in the face. Barefooted. He would take his boots off, and bad guys would try and hurt the Indigenous people, and he would roundhouse kick them in the face. And he did this for probably about 3 hours at a time, I think. He was just basically...
There was 4 movies.
A constant roundhouse?
Yeah, it was just an hour of roundhouse kicks in the face. And so as a young person, I loved this. I thought this is fantastic, all these roundhouse kicks in the face. And... but that's my personal exception. I don't know. There's something about Billy Jack, the campiness of it, that I actually appreciate. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I love Billy Jack too, and if they're ever going to make a remake, I can wear a hat. I got it. I could shave this colonial look off my face.
Candy, you were quiet when he was talking about this person.
I very carefully considered the situation.
Yeah.
I've really thought hard and deep about it, and I say, no. In fact, I tried to find a woman character because, of course, lucky you get Billy Jack.
I know.
What did we get? Squad number 3. No. So as I've gone back and looked, no, not really. And for us, for women, like Buffy St. Marie, I don't know about you, but for me, Buffy St. Marie, being on Sesame Street,
yes.
That was my first thought of, oh my God, I could be on TV. Yeah. And I got to open for Buffy about 10 years ago. And I picked her up at the airport, and we got to have a plate of clams together. And I said to her, you have no idea how much you liberated a little Mi'kmaq kid up on the east coast of Canada just by being you on Sesame Street. And thank God it was Buffy and not some out-of-work Italian actor who they painted up. So no, I have no exceptions. Okay. Buffy or bust, baby.
All right. Well, I am going to... That's never good enough for me. So I am going to ask you to stretch your imagination a bit further here, and I want you to imagine that Hollywood is going to make a movie about your life, and then they're going to whitewash it as they often do. Sure.
Are they going to show the Kleenex coming out of my boots?
Absolutely. It's no holds barred. It's which white actor would you want to play?
Oh, I know that. No, but I totally know that answer.
Yeah?
I totally know that answer. It's hard to tell now that I'm 50, but all my young life, I always got the same person. And if you looked at a picture of me in my 20s and 30s and a picture of her in her 20s and 30s, we're even the same height, Gina Davis. Gina Davis and I look a lot alike. Yeah.
Craig?
A no-brainer, Scarlett Johansson. Obviously.
And she could do it. She could pull it off. Yeah. Deal.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, he's the best.
It's true. On that Gary Oldman note, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to continue solving all of the problems that are happening in Indigenous communities today with the help of the Red Power panel. Don't you dare go away. We've locked the doors. Alrighty. And welcome back to the Laughing Drum, my friends. Television so monumentally Indigenous, we can speak Michif in Inuktitut. I'm here with TV's most Indigenous team of pundits, the Red Power panel, and we are attempting to answer some of the most urgent issues facing Indigenous people today. Alyssa Blackwolf-Kixon is coming back on the show. Please welcome her. All right, Alyssa, which question are we going to answer now?
World issues. The 2020 Olympics are fast approaching, yet so few Indigenous athletes seem to make it. Tonight we are going to find out why and how to fix it.
All right. Thank you, Alyssa. Okay, so yes, the Olympics are coming, and there are very few Indigenous athletes that make it to that level. Present company excluded. Your sister was, yes, was an Olympian.
True.
But
who's your sister? I was just about to say.
Yes.
Remember Kanietiio Horn on the cover of the Time magazine, and me in my little bedroom going, "Please be gay, please be gay, please be gay, please." And when I finally met her and did comedy for her, I said, "Are you gay? Please, are you gay?" She let me down easy, but if she ever wants to experiment, she knows.
Okay, I'll let her know.
I had a similar thing, but I was like, please don't be gay. Please don't be gay.
Oh my God, that is so cool. She was a huge hero of mine, so I love making that connection. Yes. Sorry.
I'm fascinated by this too.
Anyways,
it's crazy. But so Indigenous people, as you can tell, are incredibly athletic people, but we don't often make it to the Olympics. Why do you think that is? Let's start with you, Craig.
For real, funding probably.
Yeah.
And probably the lack of bum muscles for a lot of sports. You gotta, you gotta be able to, like sprinting, you need a real solid, you look like Donovan Bailey's butt. It's got a real hard onion going there. Yeah, for sure. Sprinters? Oh yeah. But yeah, most probably funding. Yeah. Funding coming out of our communities. It's can't even afford to have some clean water to drink while you're working out. Yeah.
The other athletes are drinking smart water, and we can't even get tap water. So that's a bit of a challenge. For me personally, although I was a big athlete back in the day, I went to law school. If you went back to my high school, you would still see my name on the gymnasium wall from my athletic days. Then I went to law school and gained 150 pounds. Now I'm waiting for couch surfing to come to the Olympics, and I am going to definitely be captain of that team. And then I am going to do a picture on the cover of Time magazine. Completely naked too, but instead of a water polo ball, I'm going to use a beach ball. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure everything is covered.
How do we level the playing field then? What Indigenous sport or activity, better yet, could we add
Jigging.
to the Olympics? Jigging?
Yeah, jigging. Good. It's true, I am. It's a skill.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. I'm not jigging for you here. I just gotta get the right music and everything. No, I'm not jigging. No. But jigging.
Really? How did you learn how to jig? It doesn't strike me
Well, like
as
the old moccasin dance, like our people's like dances are sort of like that. We like jigging. We like that kind of like you know, like it's true.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Candy, are the Mi'kmaq big jiggers?
No, we don't jig. we don't do the jig. We do the gojwa.
What is the gojwa?
I have Chief Leroy Denny, Eskasoni First Nation, the best gojwa dancer I've ever seen in all my life. I kept saying, because I didn't grow up on the res, teach me how to gojwa. They never ever did. But it's like this little two-step thing. Yeah. And let me tell you, it's hard to pick up if you can't get in the gojwa circle. Yeah. You got to be able to gojwa, yep. And we also don't have bannock out there, right? We got Luski.
Luski, yeah, Luskinigan.
Yeah, Luskinigan.
Right. Yeah.
So we're just out there on the East Coast trying to do what we can do.
You're very, very...
Trying to rep. You know, we dropped the ball on the gatekeeping for y'all when they arrived, but...
You're just like, oh, nice boat.
Nice boat.
We're just trying to keep it solid.
I go lacrosse.
Yes.
That would be awesome. We'd kick ass at that.
Yeah.
Or at least...
Or shoot pool.
Yeah, well, you guys, they shoot. Mohawk and Ojibwe people would excel at lacrosse.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. My nephew was like really good at it. Yeah. Cougar, Kirby. Hey, what's up?
Snow snake. What is that?
Oh, snow snake would be good. Mm-hmm. Snow snake.
Is that when you throw something and
it's like in the ice and it's like almost like bobsledding but for like a twig.
Yeah. Snow snake.
Snow snake?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like something my father told me to avoid. Keep your knees together, honey. You don't want the snow snake getting in there. No, sirree.
Oh, my God.
Not even a rich snow snake.
No, keep the quarter between your knees. Broom ball. Bring broom ball back to the Olympics. Right?
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like my favorite...
The three of us would take a team.
Yeah, it's got to be broom ball. It was like my favorite thing about Spirit Bay is that they used to play broom ball all the
Anything
time.
where you get to wear shoes with suction cups on the bottom, I'm all in. All in.
Yeah.
And that just about concludes our Olympic coverage for APTN.
They should send us, eh?
They should
send us.
We would be the best Olympic team ever.
No, but to report.
Yeah.
To report.
Yeah.
We'll tell.
I want to compete. I want to
Canadians.
report. Yeah.
We'll tell Canadians what's happening.
I don't think we've solved the thing. I think we've had a lot of fun, but friends, I want to thank you all for having us here in Toronto. Give yourselves a round of applause for being such a great audience. Huge thanks to the Red Power panel for coming out. Very talented people. If you have a chance, go check out anything that they're in. And thanks to all of my audience at home for tuning in. We will be back next week, not in Toronto, but that's okay too. You know, don't boo. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody.